With the sun beating down here on Easter Sunday, April 21st, 2019, we're just a few hours away from crowning our first ever 4 Euro Trophy Open champions. First up, it's Junior Max, final number 2, 34 combatants in this one. On pole position, the driver that stole it away from the two behind, Chris Harnon, sits on pole position. Alongside him will be the 2018 Euro Trophy Junior Max champion, Mike van Vugt. Don't forget, there's also a charging Polish driver in the form of Oli Pilka, who will have Tom Heinatz alongside for company on row number 2. Vilgot Edqvist and Miska Kaskinen round out the top 3 rows ahead of Oskar Christiansen, Lars Zanen, Jerzy Spinkowitz, Leighton Forey, whose dad I spoke to during the lunch break and said, well, we've got the pace, we know we can do something about it. Let's see what Leighton brings in terms of South African fire to this particular final. Christian de Klein and Bart de Wit round out row number 6 ahead of Maurice Schmeis, with Daniel Ginchard and Jeffrey Fixer running at the top 15. Max Stammerink, Linus Hensen, Fahin Mega, Valentin Klus and Ethan Kutsi round out the top 20. And completing the 34 strong order, it's Kai Hilatz, Matis Malinovskis, Miro Halika, Morris Schuring, Dan Zopfi, Patrick Slok-Melis, Gianni Andristani starting all the way down in 27th position, followed by Flint Schuring, Lukas Schoenmakers, Jules Castro, Lukas Scherbinskas, Zen Rudenberg, Jeff Machiels and Alexander Abskava. 11 minutes have been set on the timer, plus 1 additional lap, and we have the red lights on the starting gantry. If you saw the first final a little bit earlier on this morning, be warned, there will be fireworks, as we have 3 drivers that are in true, clear contention for that coveted ticket to the 20th Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals taking place at Sarno between October the 19th and October the 26th, 2019 in southern Italy. What a prospect we've got here in front of us as the drivers now quickly get into the 2x2 side-by-side rolling start formation. We're now into the latter stage of it. And it looks like we might not have Flint Schuring taking part in this one, as I see, well, Alexander Abskava is there, as is Jeff Machiels. The red lights are on the gantry. The race director will now start to ask them to slow down ahead of the rolling start formation. It's about anticipation right now. Do we go lights out? Yes, we do. Great move by both Harnon and Pilka, who tried to get the initial run on Van Vugt, who is going around the outside of Pilka, going into turn number 2. As it's 3 abreast, runoff area can be used only once as one driver joins, and that looks to be Flint Schuring. 3 abreast going through turn 4 towards the back end of the field. But at the moment, Chris Harnon has the initial advantage. Mike van Vugt in close proximity. And Van Vugt steals the lead from Chris Harnon going through into turn number 7. All results will be provisional based on what might happen post-race. But Van Vugt now ahead of countryman Chris Harnon in first and second, respectively. Just over 10 minutes to go, and Oli Pilka's dropped all the way down to 5th at the minute, as he's been passed by both Tom Heinatz and Vilgot Edqvist, who's now up into 4th position. Just behind him is Oskar Christiansen from RS Competition. Miska Kaskinen drops down into 7th. Leighton Forey's already up into 9th. So the South African already making 1 place up in the first lap. We're now on to lap number 2. 9 minutes and 50 on the clock to go, plus an additional lap. Some great side-by-side action going through, even into turn number 5. I've seen some great overtakes, including the Dilroy Diamond doing an outside overtake on turn number 4. And if someone else can pull that, that's side-by-side. Oh, there's been a clash. Someone's 180 degrees the wrong way. One's had to avoid going into turn number 8. I'm wondering if that was Oskar Christiansen that might have been involved. It was. Christiansen out of contention. Also, Jerzy Spinkowitz involved in that. And there's more carnage at turn number 9. 2 cars stuck together. So in 2 corners, 2 accidents that have taken some people out. One of them looks to be the 219, I believe. That's Miro Halika from Finland. So Van Vugt continues to lead. And at the moment, if things stay as they are, he will get the maximum amount of points. And also Chris Harnon, who's got 25 in the bank already. So that could really put a very different dynamic, but it's all about what Harnon does in the meantime. And at the moment, it stands that with regards to Van Vugt. If he wins this final, it puts him on 45 points. But I think at the end of the day, it means that Chris Harnon needs to win this second final. The 284 needs to make some inroads and needs to make it quick on both Vilgot Edqvist and then also Tom Heinertz, who is now in second. And he's hot on the heels of Van Vugt, heading into turn number 12. The young Dutch driver from the GKS Lemons Power Stable doing a great job. And bearing in mind, this is the third event that I've commentated on him, and he's impressed me every single step of the way, and he's showing it now that he can battle with the likes of the top guys. Edqvist still in third, Harnon in fourth, Pilka in fifth, Kaskin in sixth, Leighton Forey up into seventh as someone goes wide coming out of turn 4 into turn 5. Fahim Mega, last year's Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals winner in Brazil, now up into the top 11. He's 11th place behind fellow countryman Morris Schmeis. So already we've got some great changes all the way up and down the order. Gianni Andisani up into 24th as Van Vugt continues to fend off the unwelcome advances of a steely young challenger in the form of Tom Heinertz. So at the moment, Van Vugt leads from Heinertz, Edqvist, Harnon, Pilka, Kaskinen. And Dan Ginchard now has got past Leighton Forey from South Africa. There's been a move behind as looks like Morris Schmeis has just got past Bart de Wit for 9th position heading into turn number 3. More changes up the order. Jeffrey Fixer up to 14th. Linus Henson, who I've not really talked about this weekend because he hasn't had a really good one, down in 15th position. But still, Van Vugt is fending off Tom Heinertz in this, well, we're now past the, we're getting close to the half-time distance, 6 minutes 30, plus an additional lap to go here in this second Junior Max final. It's looking good for Van Vugt at the moment, but it just depends on, as I said earlier, Chris Harnon is the key player in all of this. But then if Pilka has a flyer and Van Vugt has a shocker, who knows what that could throw into in terms of the points coming to the end of this weekend. So this is going to decide who is going to Sarno in October. And at the moment, in the prime position for that is Mike Van Vugt, third in the Junior Max division last year with Robert de Haan, who's now racing over in Italy, taking the top step. So Van Vugt still keeping a defensive line ahead of Tom Heinertz. The pair were separated by less than a tenth and a half on the last tour. This is now going to bring in Edqvist, Harnon and Pilka. This is going to be absolutely explosive over the next 5.5 minutes. We're now at half race distance. Now on to lap number 6, soon to be lap number 7, plus an additional lap remaining. Van Vugt gets the head down and is 2.5 tenths of a second exactly ahead of Heinertz. But in the meantime, Van Vugt has done a 56.477, Heinertz a 56.6 flat, and then the rest of the top 5, Vilgot Edqvist 56.457, Harnon a 56.411, and then 1/100th behind is Pilka. So Harnon, the quickest of the quintet at the front of the field, and now latching on to that is Miska Kaskinen and also Dan Ginchard from the United Kingdom. Leighton Forey in 8th. Rounding out the top 15 at the moment is Morris Schmeis, Bart de Wit, Lars Zanen, Valentin Klus, Jeffrey Fixer, Patrick Slox-Mellis and Linus Henson. We've had Max Stemmendink, Jules Castro and Lukas Scherbinskas already eliminated, so we're down to 31 competitors. So the gap now between first and second is 2 3/4 tenths of a second, 0.025 seconds between Van Vugt and Heinertz. So it's a Dutch 1-2 at the moment. Another Dutchman in the form of Chris Harnon in 4th, who is still keeping with Strawberry Racing's very own Vilgot Edqvist. But it looks like Van Vugt has broken the toe, so to speak, going towards turn 7. Now they go through the turn 8 right-hand sweeper into the left at turn 9. So just under 3 3/4 minutes plus an additional lap to go in this second Junior Max final of the weekend, which will decide who gets the top prize. It's still Van Vugt commanding proceedings ahead of Tom Heinertz. Vilgot Edquist gets the head down, still staying in third for the moment. Chris Harnon is trying to push forward and gets really deep into the braking zone. Into turn number 2 does the 284 and is bringing along Olli Pilka from Dan Holland Racing. Then you've got Miska Kaskinen and Daniel Ginchard also not that far adrift, but time is fast running out here. Drivers that have also made up some moves. Lars Zanen now hits 10th position. Flint Schuring P27. And at the moment, well, the driver that sets the fastest lap of this race is not Van Vugt, who's currently leading. It's the guy in second. It's Tom Heinertz. 56.113 from the 237. So 2.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Van Vugt looks over his right shoulder ever so briefly and has exactly 0.3 of a second between himself and Heinertz, who's still keeping that second position at the moment as things stand. And in terms of what Chris Harnon, as I said earlier on in this final, needed to do is to try and challenge for the lead. But Van Vugt, having that opportunity to be on the front row, gave him an opportunity to get to the front and start leading from the word go, and he has been doing that all the way through the last 9 minutes, or through the majority thereof, and he has a clear gap between himself and Tom Heinertz as they come through turn number 10 once again. Another great opportunity for overtaking here at Karting Genk, as Chris Harnon is getting closer to Vilgot Edquist. Now they start lap number 11, and the gap between first and second is nearly half a second itself, as Van Vugt puts in a 55.918 and takes the fastest lap into his race seat, so to speak. So that was a clear nearly 0.2 of a second quicker than Tom Heinertz's best lap, which is a 56. Well, it's actually better than that. It's a 56.088. So Van Vugt over 1.5 quicker on that last tour than Tom Heinertz, who is still doing a great job. This will give him 20 points towards his tally. But I think Van Vugt has got just under 60 seconds plus an additional lap to go. So it looks by my calculations around, well, it's going to be this plus I think an additional lap. Well, we're going to have it with around about 35 to 37 seconds on the clock remaining. 35 exactly on the dot as he goes past the start finish line, so it will be this plus an additional lap. Maurice Schuring, Lukas Scherbinskas, Max Stemerdink and Jules Castro not taking any part further in this race. But the top 15 at the moment, Mike Van Vugt leads, Tom Heinertz in second, Vilgot Edquist, Chris Harnon, Olli Pilka, Miska Kaskinen, Daniel Ginchard, Leighton Fourie, Maurice Schmeiss, Lars Zanen, Bart de Wit, Jeffrey Fixer, Valentin Klus, Jeff Michiels and Patrick Slokmelis. That is the top 15. Barry Mega up to 19th ahead of Oscar Christensen, who came a cropper just on the exit of turn number 8 a little bit earlier on in the race. So this is the penultimate lap. Van Vugt has a commanding lead of at least half a second coming into this penultimate lap, but now he'll cross the line and get 1 lap to go. This is the signal that Van Vugt has been looking for the last 11 or so minutes, and he's got a great lead coming into turn 2. I don't think the 3 behind will have any possibility of catching him as they go through turn 4 for the final time. Now into turn 5, now the right-hand hairpin at turn 6 before they try and blast past road-going traffic. There's one trying to keep up with Van Vugt going into turn 7, but Van Vugt puts on the brakes, slows it down nicely, tames the sweeper out of turn 8 into turn 9 for the final time. But I think there's been a development in the fact that Olli Pilka has dropped behind. So Mike Van Vugt will come round the final corner. The checkered flag is being prepared. And I'm wondering, depending on countback, is it going to be the case that Mike Van Vugt may be confirmed? He's punched the air with one hand as he crosses the start-finish line. Tom Heinertz takes second. Chris Harnen takes third position. And when you think about it, I think that's done it. Because on the basis of that, Van Vugt will have 45 points. Chris Harnen would have had 25 and then 16 as a result of that, which puts him just 4 points adrift. So provisionally, Mike Van Vugt is the inaugural Euro Trophy Open Junior Max champion, which provisionally takes him to Sarno in October. Well done to the youngster from Boxham, only 14 years of age, with JJ Racing. Tom Heinertz, what a stellar debut in the second final. Second position, Chris Harnen takes third ahead of Olli Pilka, with Vilgot Edquist rounding out the top 5. Miska Kaskinen and Daniel Ginchard round out the top 7 ahead of Leighton Forey from South Africa. Morris Schmeiss from Germany. Lars Zenen rounding out the top 10 and completing the top 15. It was Jeffrey Fixer, Bartavit, Valentin Klus, Jeff Machiels, who started all the way in 33rd position. Kai Rielers completed the top 15. And finishing off the conclusion of the second and last Junior Max final here. Linus Henson 16th ahead of Patrick Slokmelis, Farin Mega in 18th. Lukas Schoenmakers, Jerzy Schminkiewicz complete the top 20. Matis Malinovskis, Ethan Kurtzi, Zen Rudenberg, Dan Zopfi, Alexander Abskava, Flint Schuring, Christian de Klein, Oskar Christensen and Miro Halika from Finland complete the 29 classified finishers, with Gianni Andrisani finishing 2 laps off the leaders. Morris Schuring finished on lap 7, retiring from the race. Lukas Scherbinskas finished retired from lap 2. And then also we had Max Stemerdink and Jules Castro coming together on the very first lap. There has been a penalty issued to the 241 of Matis Malinovskis, who will drop a little bit further down towards sort of 25th and 26th position. But provisionally speaking, Mike Van Vugt heads to Sarno in October.